Hello everyone. Today we are going to cover a topic called user management in Oracle Siebel CTMS using identity and access management system. So these are the topics which we are going to cover here. To create a position in Siebel, create a user, then request a Siebel account, so on and so forth. So I would like to give you a demo, so that you will have a better understanding how do we do that. All right. So first we are going to hit the Siebel URL. So basically there'll be two URLs. One would be the Siebel CTMS URL, right? And the second would be the identity URL. So this identity URL is used to manage the users by CDA. CDA is what? A customer delegated admin. Alright, so first we are going to hit this URL. Why we are doing that? You see that we are going to create a position in Siebel. So this is the first step what we are going to do. And when we are hitting the URL, the expected output is this page. We are supposed to get that. And please do not follow this URL. This is for training purpose. So you should use your own URL. We'll hit this URL. We'll hang on for a while. We see we get this page. Okay. I have saved this username and password so that whoever is looking at this presentation should not see the password because of the compliance issue. So I saved it well in advance. So we are going to put a username which would be your official email ID. This is the test one, so I'm showing a different one, but you should be using your official email ID and password. You click on this. Here's the presentation. You should see the Siebel home page. So we'll hang on for a while. Alright, so here we are. So this is the home page of Siebel. So now to create a position, this is the important step, please make a note. To create a position in Siebel, we have to click on this ladder structure which is called site map. We'll just click on this. So here you see multiple screens, right? So for individual users, you might not see all the screens because of your access restriction, but the one screen which is required to create a position is, you go to administration group, you click on positions. So here the position screen comes, right? So whatever user we need to create a position first. Alright. So for example, my name is Ankit Narang. So I'm going to create a position for myself. The first column is division. Division can be anything, but by default it will be default organization unless specified any other organization based on the customer need. We are going to give default organization. You'll do a tab, you'll go to the next tab. Position, you can create any position, but it should be unique name and it should be easily identified that this position relates to X user. So for example, my name is Ankit Narang. This is my name. So the naming convention, what I think would be suitable, for this, the first two alphabets of my first name, then give right? So this is how we create a position. And one thing to note here, position consists of the data. For example, once my user ID is created in the Siebel and I'm creating a lot of data within Siebel, so that entire data will be associated to a position. If I delete a position, I lose all the data with respect to this email, this user ID. Okay, so we need to make sure that in any point in time we are not deleting a position from here. This is a very crucial step. And for example, tomorrow I leave the organization, right? So still that position should not be deleted, because the data what my profile consisted of can be taken over by a new joinee. So in that case, what we need to do is we need to rename this position with his or her user ID by giving some naming convention, so the entire data what I created should be visible to that new joinee. Okay, so I created the position. There are two ways to save this record. You can do a Control S, or you can navigate to the next step. Okay, so the position is created now. The next step, what we have to do is creation of SSO user account. So now we have to log into the identity URL, and I'll show how to do that. I'm hitting this identity URL, and I am not going to supply a new username and password because it's SSO and I have already logged in to the Siebel CTMS application using my credentials. So you will see it directly comes to the home page. Okay, so we are at the home page. Now what we have to do is we have to click on the user screen. Remember, we are creating a new user which would be a part of identity console, and later on we are going to give a Siebel privilege to it. Okay, so you see that you click on users link and you see this page. We will click on a blank search. You can see all the users are coming here. Alright, so if you need to create a new user, we'll click on this create button. So you see the new page is opening. I'm giving my details, email ID, okay. Then I'll select the organization. I'll click on this magnify glass. I'll do a blank search. I get the organization. So since I'm a part of Oracle, I select Oracle. So based on the customer, the organization name would come here. So you have to select the respective one. I select this. User type, based on what type of user it is, you have to select that. Okay, now here's the user login. User login should be email ID. Okay, so this is the field what we have to create. Please make a note. We are not supposed to skip this any point in time, right? Rest of the fields, if required, we will fill, but those are the optional one. These are the one we need to fill in. Click on submit. You see user created successfully. So that means there was no issue. User is created. So after the user is created, you see this page, right? So there's an additional tab now, user details, my name. Okay, if you go to the users here, you do a search, you see my name is coming now here in the user list. Okay, if I click on this hyperlink against the user login, the same page would open, this one. Okay, right. So now what we have to do is, now the user is created in identity. Okay, now we have to create a user in Siebel CTMS. What I have to do is click on request accounts. Okay, so I think there's some naming convention issue. You should see here Siebel test and Siebel prod. So we'll fix this, but in your application you should see the Siebel test here. So I know this is Siebel test. I'm going to click here, select this, because I want my ID to be provisioned to the test environment. Okay, I click on this, I see add to cart and do a checkout. Once I do a checkout, this page will open, right? So we have to fill in the details. User ID should be the email ID, my name, email, okay. Email is a must because the password would be sent to the email automatically. We'll click on select the primary responsibility. So based on whatever responsibility is required, we need to select that. So I'm selecting Siebel system administrator. Okay, so here we go. Then I have to select the primary position. This position I created in Siebel. You can see here it's reflecting here now. So what happens is that whatever position you create here in this screen, so there is a job which syncs up all the position to identity. So every 15 minutes the job runs. So it takes up to 15 minutes for your position to reflect here. So it's reflecting here now. I'll select this, say OK. Okay, all right. So I filled all the mandatory fields. I'll click on ready to submit. Then I click on submit button. It says successfully completed the operations. To verify whether it's actually provisioned or not, we will go here, do a refresh. You see the status as provisioned, which means this user has flown into Siebel application and it's provisioned and is ready to use. Okay, so before that what you have to do is, since we have not set the password for the user, what we'll do is that we'll click on reset password, so that I receive a password to log into the application. So auto generate the password, email the new password to the user. I click here in the reset password. I should be receiving a password at my email ID, right? So just to verify whether Siebel, user has flown to Siebel or not, we'll go to the Siebel application. We'll See, I have received the password. CTMS reset password. So this is the password. Okay, I'll copy this. Okay, just to to verify whether the user has come into Siebel or not, we will go to administration, user screen, go to employee screen. You see my ID is here and the position is assigned, right? Okay, so what I will do now, I will log out from this application. And now I am going to log in with the password what I received. I just pasted that. I'm doing the login. So this is the first login I'm doing. Okay, so it will ask me to change the password, right? So old password what I received, now I just pasted it again. I am setting up some new password. Okay, I have to select the questionnaire. If I forget the password, what is your mother's maiden name? Put something. Okay, we click on submit. Okay, so now it will redirect me to the Siebel application. Alright, so I can see all the screens to my account because I have assigned myself a Siebel administrator responsibility, so I see all the screens. Okay, now every time I have to use the same password which I have set just now. Okay, I will log out from the application. We'll go to the next step of, see, we have covered this. Right, selecting the organization, there's request accounts. Right, we see the provision status here, right? See that. So the next one is modify a user. So I'll cover that up now. Okay, get the URL, identity. Right, I logged in again with cpadmin. Now topic what we are going to cover is modify user. It's pretty straightforward. I'll show how to do that. Search for a user first name. Okay. See my user ID appearing here. If I want to modify, I will select this record. Click on edit. Any information is required to be updated. For example, user type becomes from contractor to full-time employee. You can change that. Email ID in case it's changing or it's not correct, you can do that. Display name, you can change it. So whatever information is required to be changed, we can change this, and then click on submit. That information would be updated. Okay. Okay, now we are going to cover the topic of disable a user. If you want to disable a user has left the organization or no more associated with this group, just select the user, click on disable, if you click on submit, it says user is disabled, right? It's pretty simple. We'll go to the next one. Enable user, just reverse of it is enable a user. Select this. If user is disabled here, then the enable would be there, so you can enable the user from here. Next one is to unlock an account. What happens is that when any user is trying consecutively 5 times a wrong password, user account gets locked, right? So account status would be locked here. Just a point to note here, there's a small bug in IDM. Even though user receives a message of account is locked, still it says the status in identity as unlocked. So what you have to do is to do a lock account. Are you sure you want to lock the account? Lock account locked successfully. Again select this, do a unlock. Okay, this is how we do that. Now this is an important one, reset password. So what happens is that many a time user forgets the password. If I'm not using for some time, user forgets that. So if the request comes that user want to reset a password, you have to search for the particular user here. Under the users, select that user, click on reset password. There are two ways you can reset the password. Number one is manually change the password. You can assign any password here, right? And select this. Once you do a reset password, so whatever password you selected, the same password would go to the particular user's inbox, right? This is not a recommended approach. Generally, you should select the auto generate the password, let it take the own complex password. You click on reset, so it randomly generates a password and user would be receiving a new password in the email. With this, we are done.